Hello YouTube, it's PC Gaming Scotland here and welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are well and gaming lots. So in today's video I'll be rounding up my pros and cons of E3 2019. Before we get into the video, let me know your thoughts of E3 2019 down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about the games you're looking forward to. So first up then, we had the EA Play 2019. Originally EA said they were not going to turn up to the event of E3, but they did a live stream instead, which was fair enough. So the first game they showed off was the new single player Star Wars game called Star Wars Fallen Order. We got to see 15 minutes of new gameplay, and I am intrigued because it's made by the developer called Respawn Entertainment, who were most famously known for making Titanfall 1 and 2 and the new free Battle Royale game Apex Legends a few months ago. So I've got high hopes for this new single player story driven Star Wars game. I'm hoping it'll be really good, but I am mindful that it's published by EA, who are famously known for the egregious microtransactions, try to monetize every little bit of content for each of their games. So I'm hopeful that Respawn will knock it out of the park yet again, but I'm mindful of the microtransactions that could be found in this game. So that was my main highlight, the EA one. Next up we had Microsoft. Now the big massive announcement was from the Cyberpunk CG Project Red, who are mostly famous for making the Witcher series and more recently the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt game. Cyberpunk 2077 got a new trailer, and we saw that Keanu Reeves, one of the biggest American movie stars, is going to be in the game. I first thought it was going to be just a wee cameo, one of the main characters in the game, which is fantastic, and I really got to see some more trailer and a wee bit of gameplay from Cyberpunk 2077, which I'm really excited about. And also Xbox announced their new next generation console called Project Scarlet, releasing holiday 2020 with Halo Infinite. Now we didn't get to see any Halo Infinite gameplay, we got another CGI trailer, but the features of the Project Scarlet do seem very similar to the features of the PS5, which was announced by Sony over 2 months ago, so we'll have to wait and see more on that. But at the same time, most of the Xbox conference was pretty mediocre in my opinion. We got the Outer Worlds, a new sort of Fallout game, new trailer and release date on October 25th. We got Ninja Theory's new sort of co-op, sort of sci-fi Overwatch type game called Bleeding Edge, a 4v4 combat action Overwatch Borderlands mashup, as they were one of the new studios Microsoft acquired only a year prior. And that's pretty much it. I've got my list of game announcements here from the Xbox conference, and really there's nothing really there that catches my interest or piques my attention, to be honest. So that was the Xbox conference, and then this is where things started to get a bit downhill with the Bethesda E3 2019 conference. We got a lot of mobile games, we got a kind of half-baked apology from Todd Howard, the CEO of Bethesda, about Fallout 76, how they out to the world half-baked game that was broken at launch. They have tried to fix this by getting rid of all the bugs and introducing a new Battle Royale mode for the Fallout 76 game. Well, I'll have to wait and see how that turns out, but at the same time I don't like their attitude behind buy and release now, fix the game later. I know in the world of, in this current gaming climate, you can release patches to fix bugs etc after launch, but I'm of the opinion of delay the game. If it's going to be that terrible at launch and you know it's full of bugs and glitches, at least delay the game. Yes, it's not ideal, but it's a better situation than to release it half-baked. And obviously they got a lot of backlash, and quite rightly so, for that game, and first impressions do count a lot in the gaming industry today. So we also got a new teaser for a sort of thriller game set in Tokyo, Japan. It was called Ghostline Tokyo, an action-adventure game set in Tokyo with supernatural undercurrents where people start vanishing, and the reason is you have to try and find out why that is. That really intrigued me. And also we got another announcement called Deathloop, and just here it says, so we got a new trailer, a mind-bending story and arcade gameplay between two assassins constantly on a death loop trying to prevent each other from dying. That sounds a really interesting premise of a new game. We also got Wolfenstein Cyberpilot available in July for VR, and also the new game in the franchise called Wolfenstein Youngblood, more weapons and upgrades, co-op July 26, 2019, where you play as the main character's twin daughters to try and find out what's happened to their father. Another interesting take. I haven't played that series. It does look very intriguing though, but also I want to add, I found the crowd to be very fake, almost like a staged crowd. It's probably former or current Bethesda employees in the front row, and there was this one guy. If you watch the live stream, I'll probably link them all down in the video description for you to have a watch in your own time, but there was one guy that kept shouting at the top of his lungs, "Yeah, yeah, that's brilliant, yeah," after every little sentence. And that, honestly, at first I thought, this guy's, why is he so hyped after really hardly anything at the conference made me pique my interest? You know what I mean? Why is he getting so excited? So I'm starting to think, well, is it a plant? It's probably got more plants than a bloody garden centre, come on. Or I'm actually thinking it's probably a paid audience, but none of them have any evidence to back them up. That's just my own opinion. But as always, that is what I thought of that one guy in the crowd, which was starting to get a bit wearing after a while, after I'm shouting, "Yeah!" after every announcement. It's kind of ruined the conference in my opinion. So next up we had Ubisoft. Now Ubisoft conference was slightly better than the Bethesda conference. So first up we had Watch Dogs Legion, the third entry in the Watch Dogs franchise. So the original Watch Dogs was really good. The second game was really fantastic and improved on the non-lethal combat and the strategic mission gameplay set in San Francisco, and part of the collectibles was to actually go around all the main landmarks and take a photo with them, which was really interesting. Now Watch Dogs 3 is set in London. It's coming March the 6th, 2020. So Watch Dogs set in, and you can London. You can also play as they've said you can play as every NPC in the world, which sounds fantastic. But I don't know if it's just a gimmick just to get sales for the game. I probably will be buying it because the first two Watch Dogs games were absolutely fantastic, and I'll be intrigued to see how playing different characters sort of increases the sort of narrative, and because I'm assuming all the characters can die and then you just have to switch and upgrade to a new character maybe. So that sounds really interesting, a really interesting take on a really good open world game. So that was Watch Dogs Legion. Let me see, so we had the absolute cringe from the Just Dance 2020, a really terrible dancing game that's a yearly sort of release for Ubisoft, but surprisingly it sells really well. So they had people dancing on the screen. We had a few mobile games, and they talked about Uplay Plus, a prescription service for all Ubisoft games at a touch of a button. 100 plus games, $14.99. So I'm not interested at all in streaming games, or because I'm all about ownership of physical media. And they also introduced or announced Roller Champions, a sort of new sort of rollerblading arena type game, a co-op game where you can play with friends. So they did see a CGI trailer, but it was a CGI trailer and there's no gameplay. It looked intriguing, almost their sort of opinion of it, a sort of like a Rocket League type, sort of Fortnite sort of graphics type game, but with really hardcore action. Now I'm assuming this is quite big in America. I've never actually seen a sort of rollerblade sort of game before, so that's intriguing, but I really need to see more gameplay for most of these games, to be honest, in order to get fully invested in what I'm actually going to be buying. They also announced Gods and Monsters, February 25th, 2020, new game from the creators of Assassin's Creed. Interesting. As I say, I need to see more gameplay of most of these games, if not all of them, to be honest. So next up we had Square Enix. Now they, in my opinion, one of the better conferences this year. The previous conference in 2018 was horrendous. A half an hour presentation of just a slideshow of their games. So first up, for the 2019 conference, they had Final Fantasy VII Remake, new gameplay trailer. The music is absolutely outstanding. It's coming 3rd of March 2019. This looks absolutely incredible. I'm not a Final Fantasy fan at all. If I was to get this game, it's going to be the very first game in the series which I actually buy and play, but I'm a bit worried about how it's episodic. I'm not really sure how that turns out, whether you have to buy the game and you get the second episode as part of that bundle, or whether you have to buy them separately. I don't know yet, but anyway, the gameplay was outstanding in my opinion, from somebody that isn't actually a Final Fantasy fan at all. And we also got a new Avengers trailer. Finished the show. I was intrigued by the Avengers. If it went down the sort of Spider-Man PS4 route, from what I've seen, where it's just a really good single player narrative open world game and all the sort of DLC was free DLC, I would have been more intrigued. But the fact they said it's a co-op game, so they're going to probably be adding microtransactions into that game, which will ruin the game. It almost seems to be like a game as a service, which they're going to keep on adding content as the months and years go ahead. And it seems quite bare bones and quite basic. I don't really know much about the Avengers world, not seen many of the films, but it looks intriguing. But I really, as I say, need to see more gameplay before I really make a proper judgment of the game. We also got Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, which is good, so you'll be probably playing Final Fantasy VII. If Final Fantasy VII is good enough, I might play Final Fantasy VIII. As I say, I've never played the game. We got Dying Light in 2020, a new Dying Light 2. Never played the first game, and we also got a lot of DLC content for Life is Strange 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3. So that was the Square Enix press conference, and to finish on was the Nintendo conference. As I say, I'm not a massive Nintendo fan, but I thought the conference was pretty good from friends that like Nintendo. They had Breath of the Wild 2, which was a really good open world Nintendo game, and yeah, that seemed to be pretty much it. Oh, and also Banjo-Kazooie is now in Super Smash Bros, which is quite interesting. So Super Smash Bros, for anyone that doesn't know, is a sort of co-op sort of fighter, a 4-player co-op fighter multiplayer game where all the characters are from all the sort of main sort of games that have been released recently. So that's intriguing. So overall, E3 2019 was okay. It's a really good game announcements that I'm really intrigued about. Glad to see we got some release dates for Cyberpunk. The new, obviously got to see some gameplay of the Star Wars game, and Watch Dogs Legion we got to see some gameplay, and Final Fantasy VII we got to see some awesome gameplay and a full boss fight that was awesome. But really, this E3 will be known for CGI trailers and mobile games, which I'm not looking forward to. I just want to see goddamn gameplay, guys. Come on, we need to see gameplay, more gameplay, so we can fully invest in the games that you want us to buy. So anyway, guys, that has been my roundup of the pros and cons of E3 2019. As always, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. But that is today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I've been PS3 Gaming Scotland, and I'll see you on another video. Thanks very much to you guys. Bye bye.